I'm super happy to be with you. We have still people coming in, checking in. My name is Bruno Marion, and I will be with you for about an hour. I can see many people coming. While more people are joining, you may or not know that this is my second webinar for A Small World. So some of you may have watched the first webinar with me, and if so, and if you do remember me, you may remember my French accent, please tell me in the chat. Please tell me your name and if you already attended the first webinar. Just tell me that. Just open. Miriam was with us last seminar. Or also tell me, maybe you watched the seminar. You love my French accent. This is flattering, I'm sure. Okay, more and more people are coming. Excellent. Welcome again, welcome everybody. As I was saying, I'm super excited to be with you. One of the reasons is after my first webinar with A Small World, I had a very interesting email conversations after the webinar. So I will give you the link how you can reach me and how we can stay in touch. And I hope to have even more conversations either with the same people, new subject, or hopefully also with new people. My name is Bruno Marion. I am also known as the futurist monk for some reason. And my mission is really to show you today how we can thrive in this more and more uncertain, in this more and more chaotic world. Some of you may know my story already, and I'll try to make a long story short for those of you that I meet today for the first time. When I was 36, I didn't have any kids. I didn't have any children. And if you are 36 or older than 36, you may have realized that when you're 36, everybody around you have kids. It's like all your cousins, all your friends have kids. So you do realize when you don't, that you are different from the rest of the world. And at that time also, I had all the reasons to think that I wouldn't have biological kids. So this started a big question for me. First, the question was, if I'm not going to leave my DNA to the universe, what else can I leave? And this question actually made me more and more concerned about the future of our kids. And maybe it's a kind of a paradox, but I think I became more and more concerned for the kids and the children in general, because I didn't have any specific ones to focus maybe my worries or my concern about their future. So at that time, I thought this is going to be my mission. I need to understand this world. And at the time I was traveling a lot. I just realized today that I didn't travel, I didn't cross a border. Right now I'm talking to you from France. And I didn't cross a border for the past year, actually since March 15, 2020, which didn't happen for me and maybe for some of you, maybe many of you, in the last 35 years. So this is really something special. But at that time, I was traveling a lot for my work. I lived in several countries, actually in many countries in Asia. And I already had the feeling that our world, I should say the human world, was going through an amazing transition. And a transition full of opportunities, if we could understand it, and full of risk if we couldn't understand it. So I thought, Bruno, this is your mission. You need to understand this world and design not only the right glasses to see through this world and understand this world, but also design and discover the right tools so our kids and ourselves, we can thrive in this uncertain world. So I left my job. I had a quite well-paid job at that time. I was sales and marketing director in a big international company. And I started to travel. I was traveling around the world for like 2 months every year. And I was trying to meet people who could help me to understand and design these tools. So I met, I don't know, now maybe thousands of people. I met super rich people. I met super poor people. I met people in jail. I met artists, activists, politicians, special forces, war journalists. These last two are quite interesting when you want to discover how to thrive in chaos and in a complex situation. And I also started to read more and more. I was already reading a lot every year, many books, but I started to read, and I'm still reading more than 100 books every year to try to understand by meeting these people, by traveling. And to tell you the truth, the more I was traveling, the less the whole thing was making sense to me. I don't know if you ever had this feeling. I guess in the past year, many people had this feeling. Like you watch TV. I don't know if anybody is still watching TV, but or you read the news on the internet or on the social network. Don't do that, by the way. Don't read the news on social network. That's a very bad idea. But sometimes it doesn't make sense. And 1 minute you think one thing, the second minute you think another thing. 1 minute you are very optimistic about the future of the world, your future and the future of your kids, if you have kids. And the next minute you're like, we are going nowhere. And you have to imagine that for me it was like a 24/7 feeling. The more I was traveling, and the whole thing was not making sense. So not only I was failing in my mission to understand this world and to design the tools to thrive in this world, but also I was feeling bad. I was suffering because I was feeling what I could call the suffering of the world. And one day, I was in Hong Kong, I remember very well, in a hotel, and I just landed from Europe. I was super tired, and I was kind of maybe in the middle of a kind of nervous breakdown or a burnout because I couldn't succeed in my mission, and I would see all this suffering, even meeting rich people. I could feel people looking for answers and suffering from this world. And suddenly I'm in my room in a very, for those of you who have been to Hong Kong, but in Kowloon, this is a Mira Hotel. And I was in one of the top floor, and I'm looking down the streets, and I don't know, I'm exhausted, physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted. I'm exhausted in every possible way you can think of. And I knew Hong Kong because I used to live in Hong Kong many years before. But this time, just looking down the street, and I see people very small from the top floor, like ants walking in the street, and I'm like, what is our world? I mean, we are just basically running from the office to a shopping mall, or in Hong Kong from one shopping mall to another shopping mall. This whole thing doesn't make sense. We are doomed. It doesn't make sense. This is just chaos. And when I heard myself saying chaos, it kind of triggered something, because I've read a lot about the latest in science, and that includes chaos theories, one of the latest development in the past 60, 70 years, complexity theories. And I knew that chaos, in a scientific sense, doesn't mean mess, doesn't mean havoc. I knew that if the world was actually chaotic in a scientific world sense, then I could find the hidden pattern. So I went back home a couple of days later. I did my homework and I met even more and more people, specialists of chaos theories. And I came to the conclusion that yes, we can make sense of chaos. We can find the hidden patterns. And what I would like to share with you today, it's one of these hidden patterns. In chaos theories, I will show you, are offering us mostly three gifts. I call them the three gifts of chaos. During my first webinar, but you can still watch on a Small World channel, I spent more time on the first two. I will give you a short summary so you can understand the context, or if you watched me before, then that will help you to keep all these things fresh. And today I will focus more on the third gift that I didn't cover at all during the first webinar, which is a typical hidden pattern of chaos, which is called fractal images. My goal today is to share all this with you so you can not only thrive in this chaotic world, you can also be more resilient, and you can even benefit from crisis. Are you ready? Excellent. Why our world has become more chaotic? I just wrote an article about that on my website. I will give you the link later. Because many people are, when I talk about my chaotic world, very often people ask me, but Bruno, the world has always been chaotic. What is new? So if you think that the world has been chaotic, you are 100% right, especially nature, the weather. Weather forecast is a typical example of chaos theories. Our world, I should say the human world, has become more chaotic in the past decades for mostly, not only, but mostly for three reasons: numbers, connection, and speed. First, number. If you look at the world population, you can almost talk about a huge explosion of the world population. 150 years ago, there were approximately 1 billion people, 1 billion to 1.5 billion people 150 years ago. Today, there are approximately 8 billion of us. So basically 7 to 8 billion. Wherever you are, maybe you are alone in front of your computer or tablet or smartphone, or maybe you are with friends or with your family. Just imagine that there would be 7 more people wherever you are. Let's say if you're alone, there would be 7 or 8 people. If there are 2 of you, there would be 15, 16 people. I'm not saying this is better, this is going to be better or worse. I'm just saying this is going to be different. And this is the important point. This is going to be different. First, numbers. The world has become more chaotic because there are more what we call in chaos science, there are more agents, more people, more agents. Not only there are more people, second reason, there are more connection. We have never been so connected. And look at that. As I said before, one of the things that changed the most in my life is that I cannot travel anymore. And I guess most of you cannot travel or definitely not as much as before. So we realize how much traveling was important. But still, even if we cannot travel, we can still travel, I could say, digitally. Look at what we are doing today. More people, more connection. There are more mobile phones on this planet than human beings. More than half of the world population is connected to internet. More agent, more connection between these agents. This is what can lead to what we call chaos or a chaotic stage. And this is changing everything. But that's not the only thing. The other thing is speed. Some things have accelerated, I could say. I can see it's a little blur. I'm going to try to adjust my autofocus. I hope it will come back. So you can see me more clearly, or maybe it's some kind of blurry effect. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. The speed, some things have accelerated. Think about that. The changing from the agricultural age to the industrial age took thousands of years. From the industrial age to the digital age, it took hundreds of years. And the digital age, if I call it like that, it's like what? 30 years old? It's a lifetime. It's actually less a lifetime. That is to say, we don't have time anymore to adapt to the new changes. Remember, if somebody asks you or challenge you why our world would be more chaotic, just point. There are other reasons, but I would suggest that you just remember these three. Numbers, connection. There have never been so many people, so much connected, and certain things are accelerating, not everything. And that's the explanation, or part of the explanation, why our world has become chaotic. And now I would like to show you very, very briefly, what do I mean by chaos? Or more precisely, what do we mean in the scientific world? So I'm going to share my screen, because from now I'm going to use a lot of images, because this is about fractal images. So obviously we need to use images. But first, before we see many fractals, a very few words about the first two gifts of chaos, because I want to make sure you know all of them. So before we talk about the third one, fractal images, I would like to tell you two things about what is called the strange attractor and about the butterfly effect. What is chaos? Chaos in science, it's a stage, it's a phase. It's like water. Water can be solid, water can be liquid, water can be a gas. A system can also have different stages. A system, what is a system? Your body is a system, your family is a system, your company is a system, your country is a system, and humankind is a system. A system basically means agents. You remember the agents? Or just things interacting with each other. So whenever I talk about a system, just think about what is relevant to you, whether it's your body, your family, your company, your nation, your country, or the world. A system can, like water, can have three different stages. The first one, I call it equilibrium, and I just put like a flat lane. Most probably you are sitting on a chair and you're not like me, you're not moving constantly in every direction. You are more or less balanced. If somebody comes to push you, then you're going to start to oscillate. And it's like a swing. As long as you push the swing is oscillating not too far from equilibrium. This is what we call a linear system. It's very important. You don't have to remember the name. Just remember what it means. A linear system is a system, once you have understood it, then you can predict and you can control. It's like a thermostat. If the temperature is too hot, the thermostat will put AC on, the temperature will go down, and then when it's too cold, the AC will stop, temperature will go up. The temperature will actually oscillate not too far from equilibrium. Remember, this system, once you have understood it, you can predict it, you can forecast what's going to happen, and you can control it, like with a thermostat. What we learn from chaos theories is that at a certain point, called the tipping point, the system can go out of balance. You see what is called self-amplification. The thermostat went crazy. It's broken. If it's too hot, he put AC, and when it's too cold, he put more AC, so it's even colder. When it's really, really too cold, more and more and more AC. The colder it is, the colder it gets. The warmer it will get. The system is out of balance, and we see what we call self-amplification. To give you an example, this is you have a sanitary or health crisis somewhere in the world that triggers an economic crisis, that can trigger a social crisis, that may trigger another financial crisis, that could trigger another social. It's self-amplifying. This is what we call also the butterfly effect, because a small event can self-amplify and amplify and amplify, and then can trigger something very, very, very big. The first secret of the chaos theories, I could say the first secret of chaos, the first hidden pattern of chaos is the butterfly effect. And this is going also to be one of the gifts of chaos, because if you understand that, by changing very small things in your life, you can have great effect in your life and even great impact for the world if you wish. The second secret, the second hidden pattern, is what we call a strange attractor. In life, you have disorder. You have you cannot predict. You cannot predict, and you have order. Order. This is what I call the linear system. You can predict once you have understood. So on one side, on one hand, you have disorder, chance. You cannot predict. There may be some statistics that you could use, but precisely you cannot predict. Order, you can predict. Chaos is a third stage. Chaos, you cannot predict, like disorder, and at the same time, there is a hidden pattern. This hidden pattern is called a strange attractor. I won't go further on that, maybe a few practical examples in 1 or 2 minutes, because this is really, these two gifts of chaos is really the subject of my first webinar that you can still watch on the Small World channel. Before we move to the third gift of chaos, fractal images, you may wonder what's next. And this is a very important part of my message, because the fractal images that we are going to see together, the goal is to understand what can happen next. Once you have passed the tipping point, you enter this self-amplification phase, and according to chaos theories, only two things can happen. There is good news and bad news. The bad news is that the system can collapse. Think about a building collapsing if you don't take care of it. Think about civilization collapsing. And I do believe that because of all this increase in numbers and connections and speed for certain things in our life, I do believe that our civilization can collapse. That's the bad news. And there are also good news, in that according to chaos theories, there can be a breakthrough. That is to say, if you apply it to the civilization, that is to say that a new civilization could emerge. There could be a new breakthrough, and maybe we could learn how to live together in a more harmonious way. And this is really the core of my message. But I will come back on that as a conclusion, because this is so important for me. I do believe that we are here, and we are at the level of a breakthrough, like when life went from atom to molecules to a living cell to a living organism to the human being. I'm not sure if there are going to be a new human being, although certain people do believe that. But I believe that at least we could discover how to live in a more harmonious way. My belief, my observations, because I can see so many self-amplification phenomena. The richer you are, the richer you get. The poorer you are, the poorer you get, etc., etc. There are so many examples of self-amplification, but I believe that in certain areas we have passed the tipping point, and we are really on the edge of amazing things, either bad things or good things. And my mission is to share with you how we can be on the good scenario and not on the bad one. How can we create breakthrough in our lives? And if we want to create breakthrough in your life, we shouldn't do that. If you talk with a complexity theorist, chaos specialist, or special forces, all of them agree. The more complex it is, the more chaotic it is, you must keep it simple. I repeat, the more chaotic, the more complex, you must keep it simple. And the tools I'm going to share with you are so simple that even if you don't watch the first seminar, you can get an idea. There are 3 tools. The first one is related to what I call the strange attractor. Remember, order you can predict, disorder you cannot predict. Chaos you cannot predict precisely, but there is a hidden pattern. The idea of this tool is to create your own hidden pattern, to create your own strange attractor, and that is to create your dream, to create your vision. So I won't spend more time on that today. Again, I covered that extensively during the first seminar. You can also check on the link I'm going to tell you. I'm sharing a whole process on how you can create and organize and clarify your dreams. The second thing, the second gift of chaos that you can use, it's the butterfly effect. You can create small routines, small habits, and you can repeat them every day. And by repeating them, you are going to create some breakthrough. Don't believe me? Try it. Again, I won't spend too much time on that. I will give you a link. There are many examples of habits that you can use. And again, you can watch the first seminar. Today, I would like to share with you more about the third gift of chaos, that is the fractal images. And why did I put glasses? I put glasses because this is really like wearing new glasses to discover the world as it is and not as it used to be. So I'm going to share with you the first a reminder. If you really want to thrive in this chaotic world, have a vision and create, I will tell you later, 5 minutes per day, 5 minutes of routine. Start with 5 minutes, small things that you repeat, you repeat, you repeat. And with these 5 minutes, you can create breakthrough. Again, don't believe me, try it. Now, fractal images. It's very important to have the right glasses. There is a legend. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've read it so many times, and I know other example, and I'm going to share a couple of them with you. The legend says that when the first boat, the first European, I believe Spanish mostly boat, reached the coast of South America, the local people couldn't see the boat. And the legend says that they couldn't see the boat because their brain or whatever here was not familiar with what is a boat, with what is a big floating gray or brown thing on the water. And because their brain couldn't see it, couldn't make the concept out of it, they couldn't see it. And so every time I hear this story or I read about this story, I always wonder, what about the little kid and what about the local shaman? Did they see the boat or not? But the legend, I never saw about that. You cannot see what your brain cannot see. That is to say, you need to be prepared to see what you want to see. The first time I listened to this story, to this legend, maybe, I also wonder, what about me? If I was a local tribe people on the beach, would I have seen the boat or not? Because I would like to believe I could see the boat. Maybe not. And I would like to make a small test with you. This is the first time I do it on Zoom. Normally, I do it on a big screen during my talk, so it's going to be an experiment. I'm going to show you for like 15 seconds. I'm going to show you one image. You'll see it very easy. There is a red triangle, and inside the triangle, there is a sentence. So I would like you to memorize, again, 5-10 seconds, maybe less, 5 to 10 seconds. Try to memorize, don't cheat, don't make a print screen. You can do that later if you want, but don't do it now, don't cheat, just try to memorize. Okay. And now please write in the chat box what you have seen in the red triangle. I give you a couple of seconds and I'm trying to open my chat box. Give me a second. Maybe I will stop the screen sharing for, oh, okay. I love Paris in the springtime. I love Paris in springtime. I love Paris. I think it's going fast, but I think I saw one good answer. Yes, Amanda. And apparently there is only Amanda. So if you check the chat box, of course, you will see the right result. I'm going to show you now, again, the same picture. There is no trick. I really insist, there is no trick. This is exactly the same. It's not written, I love Paris in the springtime. Something else is written. And Amanda saw it. It's written, I love Paris in the springtime. There are two articles, not one. There are two articles. I repeat, I love Paris in the springtime. I'm showing you this to show you that, well, if you speak, especially if you speak a better English than me, your brain is prepared to read I love Paris in the springtime. And your brain is not ready to see the second article. What I'm going to show you today is exactly like this small workshop. It's a world that is not exactly as you think it is. I'm going to show you that because our world has become more chaotic, it has also become more fractal. And look at this image again. I'm sure now all of you, and if you don't, read it reverse. Huh? Read it springtime, the in Paris, love I, and then for sure you will say it. I'm quite confident that if I show you the same picture in 10 minutes, or tomorrow, or in 1 week, you will see the second article. And my goal is the same, is that with these new glasses, that you can see the new world as it is emerging. Ready? Let's go. When I remember in 2001, typically after September 11th, a book from Samuel Huntington became very famous, The Shock of Civilization, if I remember well. And this is how he would draw the world. This is his map. This is Huntington's map of the world. And according to him, I'm not saying I agree with that. Huh? As you will see, I actually quite disagree. But this is his map. 20 years ago, this is how he would see the world and describe the world. Each different color is a different civilization. So you have like the Chinese civilization, the Western civilization, the African civilization, the Muslim civilization, the South American civilization, etc., etc., etc. This is not the world I'm seeing when I travel or when I could travel a year ago. Where is this? Tell me in the chat. Where is this? This is actually in Paris. If you look on the top right, you will see a little sign with a baguette called Banet, and this is a typical Paris sign. Where is this? Maybe some of you have been there. This is in Mumbai. This is in India. What I'm trying to show you is that some people would think, I get Singapore as an answer very often. No. This is in Mumbai. What I'm trying to show you, there is a little bit of India in France and a little bit of the Western world, obviously, in Mumbai. Where is this? Well, again, look at the background. This is also Paris. This is actually not very far from my place in Paris. Where is this? Okay, this one, you're not going to believe me, but this one is in China. Again, I think in this world today, there is a little bit of China in France, a little bit of France in China. And the world, as I see it, doesn't really look like this, but look more like this. Again, there is a little bit of India also in New York, a little bit of Korea in New York, a little bit of New York in etc., etc., etc. And this is changing absolutely everything. In the previous world, which I call, by the way, a linear world, like a linear system, you have clear borders. So you knew where is the stranger, where is the foreigner, is far away or at least on the other side of the border. But where is the stranger? Where is the foreigner in this world? The stranger may be your neighbor. And by the way, if you are parents and if you have kids who are like 20 years old or less, you may actually think that the strangers having a totally different culture invaded your own home. But that's a different story. Our world has become more fractal. You may think this image is like, doesn't make any sense, but there is a hidden pattern, which is called a fractal image. I've been trying for many years, I was trying for many years to find an easy explanation, an easy definition for fractal images. And actually, I discovered the best definition. One day I was giving a talk in India. It was a quite big talk, and it was translated. I was giving it in English, but it was translated in different languages, including French. So for me, it was kind of weird to talk in English and hear my not voice, but my message translated in French. And there was a kind of rehearsal in the afternoon. And so I met all the translator, and I was trying to use my to test the screen and my laptop and everything. And at one point, I could hear the French translator, a lady, and she was talking to her daughter. I think she was, I don't know, 7 years old, maybe 8 years old. And I heard, because she was speaking French, so I could understand what she was saying. And she was telling her daughter, I'm not sure we'll be able to translate all these technical things about chaos theories. And I heard her daughter telling, no, no, mommy, this is very, very easy. Look, and actually, she said that. Look, mommy, it's very easy. You draw a circle, then smaller circles, then smaller ones, then smaller ones. And actually, she had, when it's too small, you just put a dot. And that was the image that I was using to test my equipment. And this image is a fractal image. This is a Mandelbrot set from the name of Benoit Mandelbrot, a mathematician who invented the word fractal. So I thought, well, this is great if kids can understand, and actually not understand, can recognize. And this is my invitation to you. Don't try to understand too much from now. Try to be able to recognize. Just be like a kid. So I thought if kids can understand it, I need to find more kids. So I asked one of my friends, she's a teacher in France, and I said, can I come to your school? And I brought all my pictures, some of my pictures of fractal images, and I showed them to the kids, and I asked them, what do you see? What do you see? So I'm going to do the reverse with you. I'm going to show you what they told me, and after I will show you the image. Kevin, there is a cross in the cross, in the cross, in the cross. That was the image I was showing. That was my way to show them and to show you how you can design your own fractal image. One of the definition of fractal images, it's an image that stays approximately the same, whatever the scale. I repeat, a fractal image is an image that stays the same or similar, whatever the scale. Another one, you cannot measure how long it is, it never ends. This is a Koch flake from the mathematician Koch. And as you can see, he put two triangles or three triangles in one triangle. And here I start from zero. But Bertrand was right, the young kid. You cannot measure it. This is infinite. This is infinite. Another one. The closer you get or the farther you go, the more the same. I think that was the favorite one. And I'm going to show you this very short video, not the whole video. This is a Mandelbrot set again. But just so you can dive into it. And slowly, you will start to see the same pattern appearing. Look at it like a young kid, and you will discover the pattern coming back and coming back. A fractal image is an image that stays similar. It's actually called autosimilarity, whatever the scale. Why am I telling you about fractal images? For two reasons. First, as I told you, because our world has become more chaotic, our world has become more fractal. There is also another reason. Because nature has been thriving quite well, even in chaotic, environment for millions of years. So maybe we can learn from nature. And you will see that in nature, there are many examples of fractal images. And now, again, stay like a kid. Just look and try to see the fractal image. This is a cabbage, Romanesco cabbage. A tree, a leaf. This is a desert in Algeria. This is Atacama Desert in Chile. I took this picture myself. Can you start to see the auto-similarity? That the pattern is not exactly the same, but you could feel that it is repeating. Another one. Where is that? Type in the chat box where it is. Oh, sorry. It's actually nowhere. This is a digital image. I'm showing you this because fractal images changed the world of gameplay, video gaming, and special effect in the movie. Because with a very simple formula, you can create a fractal that is close to a mountain, that is much closer than how we used to draw a mountain with just a triangle. This is the formula, and I'm not going to dive into it, don't worry. But this is the formula for the Mandelbrot set. With this very simple formula, you can design the video that I just showed you. And this is what I want to show you. A very simple formula. And by the way, if you change a very small thing in this formula, very, very tiny thing, like after many zero, the result will totally change. This is another example of the butterfly effect. Another one? Most people, they think it's coral, but actually it's a dendrite. This is a cell in your brain. This is still not coral. This is your lung. You are actually a fractal image yourself. So how can you apply that? I would like to give you, first, maybe at the first step, don't try too much to apply it for a couple of days. I will give you some homework. My homework is not to apply it. My homework is to be like a kid and to look around you when you walk in the trees, in the forest, when you walk in the streets, when you watch pictures on TV, try to recognize the fractal image. Still, I would like to trigger your appetite to go further in your life by using these new glasses. This is the linear life. The linear life, you have one first stage that you learn, a second stage that you work, and a second stage, if everything goes well, that you rest. I believe this cannot work anymore in a more chaotic and in a more fractal world. I think, no, you should maybe not start to work too early, but have kind of a work experience as a trainee, younger and younger. And more important, as an adult, I believe most of you are adults or consider themselves as adults. Please make sure you organize your life as a fractal life. I don't know how does it look, but I played with it. What I want to tell you is keep learning. For me, one of the most important tools in this chaotic world is to learn to learn to unlearn, that is to forget, and to learn again. More example, how you can apply these new fractal images. This is the old world, the linear world. You use raw materials, you product things that you are going to buy, use, and get rid of. I hope most of you are at the next stage, which is recycling. And I'm sure many of you may have heard of the blue economy, the circular economy. That is to say, each stage is itself within a larger recycling cycle. If you look at that, I hope some of you can start to recognize a fractal. And that is my goal today, is not to talk about the circular economy. My goal is to make sure that next time you see something that you don't understand, that looks chaotic, that looks like a mess, you can now recognize the fractal image and start to investigate. Another one, the currency, the money system. Before it was linear, there used to be maybe not only three, but a couple of world currencies. Now, there are every day new one. There are open money, digital money, etc., etc., etc. Same. You could think, and I remember when I was using this as an example 10 years ago, people would tell me, no, you're crazy, this cannot work. Now, you know this is not mess. This is a fractal. And you can start to investigate how can it work. A last example. The little white dot in the middle of the screen is my house. This is not where I am today. This is where I will be tomorrow evening if everything goes well. This is my house. And as you can see, we are in the middle of nowhere. And everything I'm sharing with you, I experiment myself. So I worked a lot on the resilience and especially about the energy. So I have a wood stove in my kitchen, another one in another part of the house. This is to heat the water thanks to the sun. This is my photovoltaic panels. This is air-to-air panels to get a little warmer air during winter. This is my windmill, my small windmill. Just with this windmill, I actually produce twice, 2 to 3 times more electricity than what I actually use, that we use as a family in the house. So at that stage, by the way, if you come to my place, which is in Ardèche, that is in the south of France, you can also enjoy the organic ratatouille from my garden. So at that stage, most of the time, people they ask me, "Oh, so you can be totally autonomous?" And my answer is always, "No. I don't want to be separated from the world. This is not how I see things. I want to be connected. I want to be able to buy from the network. I want to be able to sell to the network. And my way of seeing things is more like this." And some of you may have heard of smart grids. And this is actually a smart grid where you are a producer and a customer. And there are big production facilities, smaller production facilities. Again, my subject today is not smart grids. My subject today is to tell you if you see something like that, even if you're not a specialist, you don't understand what it means, you can recognize now the fractal image and tell yourself, oh, that may be interesting. Let's start to investigate. Now you have new glasses. My advice is to practice. Just for like a couple of days, you just go to Google Image and type fractal or fractal images and just look at the images. Don't think about it. Just look at them for a couple of days. Another invitation to you is to show you that the way we memorize things is actually in a fractal way regarding time. So I've designed for you a fractal memory experiment. If you go there, I will show you again at the end of my presentation and after the questions. If you go there, you can enter your email address. This is how I started this interesting conversation with some of you after my first webinar. And you will receive a couple, not many, 3 or 4 emails, but the first one you will get it immediately. These are some notes that I advise you to read to go further on this subject, especially the first 2 gifts, the strange attractor and the butterfly effect, which I covered very fast. As a conclusion, I really would like to tell you that I am convinced. I may be crazy, I may be wrong, but I'm really convinced, looking at the world, especially this past year, but even before, that we have passed the tipping point. And I'm still concerned about our kids. I still don't have any biological kids, but thank God or thank the universe, I could build up my small family. And I am concerned. I'm very optimistic, to tell you the truth, because I do believe that we can create this breakthrough. But I think we are here, and I think we are responsible, especially if you are an adult and if you are concerned about your kids and all the kids on this planet. And one thing very important, because of the butterfly effect, you never had so much power to change things. In the past, in the linear world, to change things, you need to be many of you, or to be super powerful, or super rich, or the president of the country or the company. Now, because of the butterfly effect, each of us, we never had so much power. Maybe one of your tweet, maybe one of your next article, maybe just by being nice to your neighbors day after day, maybe you will trigger some amazing positive effect. Have a dream, create your own strange attractor, and have 5 minutes of routines, of rituals that you repeat, and use your new glasses. Experiment, try it, don't believe me, try it. That could be my conclusion. Don't believe me, try it, and please join me. So this webinar is not only a meeting, but the start of a relationship. I will put that in the chat box so you can actually just click right away. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the sharing and I'm going to look at your, well, first, maybe I'm going to share the link and then I'm going to read the questions if we have any questions. Okay, so this is my link, so you can just click on it and let me see. The nature of from Juan, I hope my pronunciation is correct. The nature is the way it is. What can we get from knowing that it is a fractal image? Is a fractal a mathematical model that will allow us to control it and or predict results? Oh, thank you so much for this question, Juan. Yes, the nature is the way it is. What we can learn from it is, as I try to show with these examples, we can learn to create new things. Like the smart grid, for instance, like a galaxy of money. We can get inspiration from nature. That would be my answer to the first part of your question. We are not going to change nature. We can learn from it. Will it allow us to control it and or predict results? My answer is no. Once we are in the chaotic stage, again, you cannot predict. And at the same time, remember, there is the strange attractor. So that is to say, you cannot predict precisely, but you can try. It's not guaranteed 100%, like in a linear world, but you can make sure as much as you can that the world is not going to be too opposite to what you wish. The best image I can give you is either surfing. If you're a surfer, you cannot control the wave. But even if you're a sailor and on the boat, you're the captain of the boat, you're the captain of your life. And this is my message, is that even in a chaotic world, even in the middle of a storm, you cannot predict, but you can regain, not control. I don't want to use this word, but you can regain some kind of will, some kind of will and freedom to go where you want to go. I also, the strange attractor, sometimes compare it to the lighthouse in the storm. So, one, I don't think you can control and predict. Still, I think you can surf. I think you can be the captain of your own life, even in the middle of the storm. I have another question from one. The way we memorize is more like a hologram. Yes, and also in a fractal way. Hologram is different. It is to a certain extent comparable, because when you break or cut an hologram, you keep the same image. But it's not exactly the same as fractal image. You don't have what is called auto-similarity. In a hologram, the image is perfectly the same. I'm sorry for all of you who are not familiar with hologram. It's like a side subject between me and Juan. But a hologram is 100% the same, whatever the scale. A fractal image, remember the tree, is not 100% the same. This is why we call that auto-similarity. It's similar, not exactly the same. Excellent. Do we have more questions? This is the end of the time. If there is one more question, let me check in the chat box. In the question, okay, this is the question. Let me open the chat box. Let me check. Excellent. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to you. I really enjoyed being with you. My conclusion again is you can have an amazing impact in this chaotic world, because the world is more chaotic, because the world is more uncertain. If you use the 3 gifts of chaos, the strange attractor, create your own lighthouse in the storm, create your own dream, your own vision. If you can set up 5 minutes of routine every day that maybe slowly you can extend to 10 or 15 minutes, you will be able to create breakthrough slowly by repeating, by the self-amplification, what we call the butterfly effect. And for a couple of days, practice your new glasses. Try to recognize, don't think too much, try to recognize fractal images that you're going to encounter in your life. And last, please join me. I will be very happy to discuss with you. If you have any further questions, just let me know. Be well, be happy, and I hope to see you very soon. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Be well, be great, have a great impact. Bye bye.